All right, folks, I'm back, and the good news is I'm outdoors. I've been working inside all morning on my computer. I've been chipping away here on going through the cheat sheet from Flyn, which is the podcast cheat sheet, because I'm going to be starting a podcast, and who knows how it's going to turn out. I'm trying to just stay focused on what I need to do in front of me one step at a time, rather than getting lost in the results and being overtaken by negative self-talk and self-doubt and limiting beliefs. So when I just focus on, what's in front of me, my productivity increases, and I don't have to get lost way out in the future. I can stay present and use as much of my mental capacity as possible. Guilt has been a good motivator for me to get back up on this video camera right here, which is my iPhone. I'm using all my resources, whatever I have at my disposal. This cheat sheet was for free. Podcasts are for free. YouTube videos are for free. So as I'm sharing this journey of mine, starting my life over, moving into a new career path, exploring things I know nothing about, like online business, online marketing, how to even make money online to have a living, how to work remotely or create my dream life. I've, definitely lived a small, I lived a small dream that I set out thinking it was a big dream. I achieved it, and looking back on it now, the dream was a lot smaller than I thought at the time, because I was doing things I had never done, like build a brick and mortar business, and then once I built it, I just didn't know where to take it from there, because I really didn't understand how social media worked, how advertising worked, online marketing, how you can use content creation, and I just didn't have the energy or the mental capacity to do any of that stuff, because I was so burnt out from wearing so many hats and being stuck working in my business. So anyway, what I've been working on in regards to the podcast has been step one of the pre-launch section of the cheat sheet. So basically, I've gone through the first few aspects of the checklist, making a commitment, purchasing, or, getting the equipment that I already have out and ready to use. So the questions I've been addressing has been in regards to preparing my show. So I'm going to read through what I have come up with, and I've worked on this for the past 2.5-3 days, and I went a little overboard. I'm probably going to look back on this and be like, dude, yeah, that was a lot of overkill. That was just way too much and a little too extreme, but maybe not. I might look back and be like, oh, this is really good stuff that I put together here. So I have no idea. Like I said, I'm new. I've never built a podcast. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to share with you what I am doing. So number one was decide why I'm starting my podcast. I'm starting my podcast because, and now these are just bullet points, and I haven't edited any of this. I just, got to a point where I was like, you know what, this is good for today. I'm just going to make a video and move on, come back to this later, edit it. So this is unedited. Why I'm starting a podcast. A, it goes from A to E, so all these little bullets here. I want to build an audience of people I can help and serve just like me, starting their lives over from scratch, who have had multiple business failures and that are currently working a job that they're not passionate about and earning minimum wage, trading their time for money. The next one is I want to develop the skill of interviewing experts in the fields of entrepreneurship, online business, online marketing, content creation, health, and spirituality. The next one is C. I want to create a business around podcasting and content creation that I can enjoy and that allows me to connect with and build relationships with other talented, successful, high-performing entrepreneurs. And also helps me connect with people who are up and coming and who are new to this world as well. D, I believe the podcast is a powerful tool that can help people become who they want to become, live the life they want to live, and turn their dreams into reality by listening to the failures and successes shared by the guests on the show. I want to create a community of people that have similar personal, financial, career, and familial aims, goals, and visions. All right, so that's number one within this pre-launch step one. Let's move on. Number two, know who my show is for. Excuse me, I had something stuck in my throat. The show is for people, A, who are middle-aged, between 30 and 60, male and female. B, who are starting their lives over from scratch. C, who have had multiple business failures in the past. D, who are currently working at a job they're not passionate about, earning minimum wage, trading their time for money, or that have just been laid off and who are now unemployed. E, that commute to and from work. F, A, B, C, D, E, F is wishing they could work remotely and focus on creating impactful content they enjoy and love creating for others. G is it's for people who are new or that only know a little bit about online business, online marketing, brand development, building an audience, content creation, and that are not that great with technology. So basically, who's the show for? I'm looking inside and looking at all the limitations, insecurities, fears, and challenges and struggles that I deal with on a day-to-day basis, and that's what's basically creating my avatar, because I've been writing out my avatar's story. That I'll share with you at another time, because I made a video of that the other day. It totally sucked, so I'm going to redo it. I just think when I looked at it and thought about it later, I was like, oh, that's a big pile of shit. I just wasn't in the right place to make a video. I rarely do that, but that's one of them I just really don't care for. So I'm going to make a new one. Back to this. So G, said that. H is who are sick of living paycheck to paycheck and having $0 in the bank as far as their savings. HI, that want to find a way out of the rat race. Trying to make sure I can read and keep myself in the frame here. It's for people who want to be able to provide for their families and their team. Last one is who are looking for answers as to how they can earn a living online. Number 3 is how will my podcast help my listeners, or how will they benefit from listening to my podcast? A, it will provide them with a free online business resource. B, it will help them in new ways to increase the likelihood of succeeding. That one didn't really come out too great, so it is what it is. I'll edit that one, make it a better statement or sentence. C, teach them the ins and outs of online business, online marketing, and content creation. Provide them with actionable steps to take. It'll help them identify what skill sets they need to work on, and also help them lean into their strengths. Edit that one. Now I just stopped putting A, B, C, D, E, F, G because I must have just kept rocking and rolling. Provide them with inspiration, motivation, and hope. Give them the power, strength, and courage to take action on achieving their dreams. Give them the courage to face their greatest fears. Give them 24/7 access to what is basically a business mentor in their pocket. Shared insights and awareness, tools, strategies, tactics, methods, techniques pertaining to obviously the topic of the show, which is online business and marketing. Best practices for the topic. Face their demons and conquer their fears, similar to the one I just read. Go from doubting themselves to believing in themselves. Let go of the lies, limited beliefs, self-doubt that their minds have been holding on to for years. Become the best version of themselves. It'll help them become beacons of light in their businesses, communities, and families. It'll uplift their minds, elevate their states of being. It'll help them learn how to be less self-centered and more other-centered. It'll help them find ways in which they can help others solve their pain and problems by providing solutions. And it'll help them live in the solution rather than the problem. And it'll help them learn how to create a brand, build an audience, and once again, make money online or build a living make a living online rather than brick and mortar. All right, so the last one is number 4. What will I offer, include, or bring to the table that will help my show stand out? Now, this is, to me, about what is going to be different about what I'm bringing to the table. So this is the differentiator, and I'm actually struggling with this part. It's challenging for me because I know there's probably a ton of entrepreneur shows out there, and I haven't listened to a ton. I've listened to a few. So what I want to do is continue to listen to more shows and see how I could bring a different perspective or share things in a way that other people aren't, or have asked certain questions that would elicit responses from the guests that aren't being elicited. One thing I do know is with the shows that I have listened to, I would like to hear a little more enthusiasm and a little more care and a little more like off the cuff, freestyling, kind of just rocking and rolling as things start to click and just going all in. Because I feel like there's some real cookie cutter stuff going on, which is great as far as creating a repeatable format. But at the same time, I think letting go of the format a little bit throughout the show can be of great use to the listeners. So as far as differentiating myself from other shows or from others that are podcasting, this is going to be an ongoing work in progress, but I can at least start to build out what I'd like to offer and maybe a couple spins on how I'd like to do it. But this is, again, just a rough draft. This isn't set in stone by any means. This is just trying to chip away at moving through the checklist and making sure that I'm, going through each one of these questions and actually doing the work. So I want to do 2 shows per week. I want to interview experts and newbies and people who've been doing this for a little while. So yeah, up and coming experts as well, up and coming experts as well. I want to do solo documentation shows where I share my insights, lessons, struggles, and successes about starting my life over and starting a podcast, applying what I'm learning along the way. Our guests will share stories about their failures and their successes as they've been pursuing and becoming successful entrepreneurs. They'll be sharing their epiphanies, their awakenings, aha moments, their breakthroughs, techniques, tips, actionable steps, like I mentioned earlier. So these do have some overlap related to, obviously, online business, online marketing, content creation, doing the internal work, and meaning not just working on the business, but the business of working on ourselves, becoming the best versions of ourselves, and helping them to develop strong character traits. So yeah, inside job. Listener, I want it to be a listener-centered podcast, not just a podcast for my own selfish needs. Obviously, I'm going to be learning as I go, so there's a selfish component to it because I want to learn this shit too. But at the same time, I do want it to be for the listener, answering the questions the listeners are asking or caring to know about. I want it to provide enthusiasm, hope, inspiration, support, energy, new ways of thinking, new perspectives, shift in paradigm. And yeah, I just want my guests to be able to share the good, the bad, and the ugly in terms of all the things that they've had to go through to either build their business or working with a team within their business, or maybe they've had to start over from scratch like I am. The good, the bad, and the ugly about, different business relationships they've had, or even, relationships with family and friends that, have either been damaged or have been rebuilt throughout their lifetime. The good, the bad, and the ugly about product development, brand development, content creation, all those things. So I don't want it to just be based solely on highlights. I want it to really be based on the struggles. That's been very important, is me hearing the problems and the solution to others. And that's what's really changed my life, is listening to the experience of others that have faced the same problems but have found solutions, and when they applied the things that either came to them or that they learned from others, allowed them to turn their lives, their businesses, and their families and relationships around, if there was, struggles in any of those areas of life. So yeah, that's pre-launch step 1. I'm still working on that. I still have to next I have to determine my show details, and I'll just keep chipping away from there. Alrighty, hope you enjoyed this video. Once again, I'm documenting my journey of starting my life over and now pursuing building a podcast and creating content online by way of documentation. Thanks to Gary Vaynerchuk back in the day. It's only taken me, 3 years to hear that message and start chipping away on documenting rather than creating. Doesn't mean I don't or won't or am not creating at all. It's just I'm focused solely on documenting. All right, that's all I got to share. Peace. God bless. If you got any comments, any questions, or any feedback that you'd like to share with me, drop it down below. All right, since this is going to be on YouTube as well, give me a thumbs up, or better yet, give me a subscribe so I know that you're even interested. But when you communicate with me, I can be more specific in regards to the things I discuss, talk about, or bring up on this documentation show. So you would help me by me being able to help you that much more. Adios.